the abundance of fire stock footage available, many people may think that all you need to do is take fire element A and slap it on top of live action footage B in your Mickey Mouse editing program. Now that may be fine if all you've got is a shot of a black soundstage, but for practical purposes, you're going to need a lot more effort to get a realistic fire composite. In this scene from our buddy comedy Who Stole the Electric Car, we have campfires as the only source of illumination in the scene. When we shot this, we put lights sitting on the ground where the fire would be. This gives us a large flare which hides the light itself. Now we can take our stock footage, make sure the background is really black by using levels, and mask out any hard edges. Then we motion track it and screen the fire on top. There are various crazy ways to rig things on set to get a firelight effect. A lot of time is usually wasted, and the effect doesn't really look great anyway. Basically, all we need is a flicker. We can create an adjustment layer with a levels effect that makes the image brighter. Now we just wiggle the opacity to make it flicker. Each frame has a random opacity between 0 and 100. You can make the flicker less by either doing less with levels or not having as large an opacity range. Here's a simple trick that you can do on set for close-ups. If you just have someone holding a light and moving it in a small radius like this, then you're going to get the shadows changing perspective. Another scene from the film has a small fire under the hood of a car during the day. Because the inside of the car is black and the shot is wide, this is a very simple fire composite. We have our main piece of stock footage, which has a bit of reflection on the floor. This gets screened on top. We take that same footage and move it later for a second little burst of flame. We have more stock footage of a smoky burst against a blue sky. After this is keyed, we mask it out and multiply that under the fire. Take a duplicate of that and blur it. Then put it at about 50% opacity underneath the unblurred layer. This will fill out the smoke a bit more. We could still use more smoke, so here's another piece of stock footage that we can key and place under the other smoke. We'll leave this blending mode on normal to differentiate from the other black smoke. To help blend, let's animate a solid over that sharp section there and put it on top of our gray smoke. To have the smoke affect the rest of the frame and help the composite, we'll add even more stock footage at around 70% opacity on multiply. Here's a scene from our sci-fi action film Omega 35 that shows the aftermath of an explosion. Looking through foreground fire on a long lens is a good way to make the actor really feel like he's in there. It's all out of focus, which makes it easy. The background's just a bunch of layers of stock footage mushed together. It's dropped out of focus with a lens blur. Take down the specular threshold so that the bright parts of the fire become a sharp white. The keyed footage goes on top of that, and the background is motion tracked. Then another layer of stock footage gets screened on top and motion tracked. The colors are adjusted and it's given a lens blur. Use another piece of fire stock footage for a compound blur on an adjustment layer below the foreground fire. Some screened fog helps to blend everything. Watch Omega 35 for plenty of fiery, explosive action. Or take a look at Who Stole the Electric Car for lots of talking and a little bit of fire.